Yeah. So, I mean, what I want to know is we can go into like the two of them, like you said. So this one here, I'm curious on how you would recommend ads, like creative wise, would be for this one, and then for the other one, what you'd see is what would be best. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like the biggest change that was made recently was Andromeda is just so creative heavy that like you don't need to be super nuanced in your targeting. You just need to have like 50 creatives. I could be wrong in that, but how
No,
would you structure?
dude, what? You definitely have to be very intentional with your creatives. Whoever told you that is insanely wrong. Insanely wrong. What? Like, no, like, I mean, with ecom, you're probably listening to an ecom guy. So in ecom, yeah, the creatives don't matter that much because Meta will just pick the best one, but you're optimizing for purchases, bro. Lead gen, you have to be extremely intentional about your creative. Okay. Otherwise, you will just, dude, in lead gen, one bad creative will destroy the whole pixel. I'm gonna say that again. One bad creative can destroy your whole pixel. Like it's really that sensitive. So here we have an oil investment fund offers. All right. So it's an oil investment fund offer, and you're getting accredited investors at scale to invest in the fund. Got it. Okay. I see you're optimizing for native lead. Go to the campaign level, please. Please. Okay. So da 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 da. Make sure you're going broad. Well, you have no choice. You have to go broad because it's a financial product. Okay,
Correct.
so number one, stay broad, obviously. Number two, you have to be extremely intentional with your creative. Anybody who tells you the otherwise is so wrong. So here we have for campaigns. Tell me exactly who the avatar slash ICP is.
Yeah, for the most part, it's people that usually have already invested before in real estate. 90% of people have not invested in oil and gas before. They see the returns, the potential returns, the annualized returns over, a 10-year span, and they're interested. I think there's kind of a hot topic with the, war and all the things happening there. So just the returns are what pull people in, but ICP is just someone that has the money.
Returns or anti-risk plus returns?
Yeah, I mean, we can look here at like the ads, but really what's bringing people in is good God, it's not what I meant to press, is the returns. Like honestly, one of the biggest questions.
What are these people closing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're closing.
What percentage of leads close?
I don't have that number offered. Actually, I
We
could get
really
that.
need that number.
Yeah, yeah, I could get that
Put
number
it up
super
for
fast.
you. All right. So the leads are closing. Fantastic job. The most important thing they're looking for is fat annual returns, 43% or whatever it is. Obviously, people are going to be super interested in that. What I would like you to focus on is anti risk as well, because people are interested in two things. Number one is returns, like fat returns,
Yeah.
but people are super interested in anti risk.
Yeah, so I think that's part of this here is that it's projected returns and then actual like producing, like there's 1,100 barrels a day of actual production happening at the moment. So how would you quickly give some anti-risk in a financial
Yeah,
product?
so I would do like talk about tax benefits, which
Yeah,
isn't about ROI. It's about like, well, not only do you get ROI, but you save all this money on taxes, right? I don't know what the taxes are. I'm just saying, right?
yeah, it's on. Yeah, 100%.
So it's like
Yeah,
one,
tax deductible.
tax benefits. Everybody loves tax benefits. Oh, you're telling me if I buy oil, if I buy this, I get this huge tax deduction or whatever it is. That I think that's gonna be a huge selling point, dude. Because like you have to think about it. There's increase and then there's decrease, right? So it's like you're increasing my ROI, but you're decreasing my tax bill.
Right.
That's massive, bro. So I would definitely have creatives and copy that focuses on tax benefits and other stuff like that too. I don't know, depreciation benefits. Why do people buy real estate? Depreciation, tax benefits. What else is there? Asset de-inflation or anti-inflation. So like what are rich people extremely worried about? They're worried about taxes, they're worried about depreciation, they're worried about appreciation, they're worried about inflation, they're worried about these other things. So it's like this is a very simplistic view where it's like, hey, a 43% ROI. It's like, yeah, but like you have to understand when you deal with high net worth individuals, like they're very multivariable. So it's like if you're like this is like very like you can tell like you're a bit not you, you could
Yeah.
tell that you're a bit new to this crowd. Right? When you deal with this crowd, when you deal with this business, you understand that there's asset inflation, appreciation values, taxes, stuff like that. So you're going after ROI, but there's so many other
Yeah.
investors have that you're not even touching.
Do you
So
think do you think hitting those with a like hitting 5 different angles in a video format versus, because all the things that right now are being done are static,
so
and most of them are like tax deduction, over 150 people already in, 43% returns, and we already have 1,100 barrels of oil. Like, I think that's really the entire, like, I just gave you the pitch and they just say that in 10 different ways in
gotcha.
static format. Like,
So I'll say this, right? So number one, 43% will always be your best hook. It's like insane. Like nothing will beat that. Number two, you do want to add creative variety to just maximize lead quality and maximize conversion rate and maximize show up and interest by tackling other things investors are deeply concerned about. To answer your question directly, you definitely want to focus on video and you definitely want the CEO to be front and center. You're selling trust in the ownership of the fund. You're selling trust in the ownership of the fund. And so the more acquainted you get with the CEO and ownership of the fund, the easier it is to get the funds. You know, your average salesperson, your average sales cycle is probably a month or two. Is that right?
yeah,
So how do we decrease that? Maximize trust early on. So it's like right now we have a photo with an insane hook that everybody's interested in. Obviously, you're going to get lead flow for 43% ROI. But when you add things like tax angles, appreciation, and asset angles, you're going to get a certain maturity. You're going to get a certain nuanced lead that understands you're a real you're a real person because like 43%, that's like this super simplistic marketing. But once you get into the other nuanced things, it establishes a level of trust because
yeah,
you understand like deeply what this stuff is about. And number two, you want to test videos with the CEO front and center because instead of like, you want to have them acquainted with the leadership of the fund early on. That's
yeah,
number two. Number three, you want to test the VSL on your lander. So right now you have native lead forms or whatever, which is
yeah,
cool. You definitely want to test a short VSL with your CEO slash leadership front and center so they get acquainted and start forming trust with the leadership.
yeah. So this
Uh,
is our form of that, except it's once they book a this is not actually the video.
well, you want to test the lander where it's before they book too.
Okay, gotcha. We do like a post, like once they book a call, this is supposed to be a 3-minute video of kind of intro. Here's what you're expecting on the call. And then there's
This
like
was
30 to 90-second, like,
Yeah, you want to basically
interest.
it's very easy to get leads for an investment fund offer. What you're fighting for is trust. Oh, yes, 40%, but like people will only give you money post due diligence and trust, right? So you want to minimize due diligence to maximize scale, right? So how do we minimize due diligence? Create the creatives have the CEO and leadership front and center. The VSL and the lander has leadership front and center. All
Yeah,
this is the cash transference from your lead to the leadership of the company. That's all this is, right? So we want to maximize due diligence. The second they fill out the lead form or slash book a call, we want to send them due diligence material that's extremely simplistic and easy to read and fast reads. Hey, thanks for booking a call. Hey, thanks for being a lead. Here's everything you need to know about us, clearly laid out. Here's the leadership team. Here's 5 years of history. I mean, what's more important than history? I'd argue there's nothing more important than history. So if you guys have a lot of history, you guys need to send history to the leads right away. So I wouldn't focus on CPL pretty much almost like don't focus on CPL. Your focus should be how do I get leads that are pre trustworthy, get those leads as due diligenced and trusted as humanly possible, as fast as possible, so the salespeople can get the funds as fast as possible. Because what are the salespeople doing? The salespeople are just gaining their trust so they get their capital. Everybody will give you their capital for 43%. It's a very good offer. You know what I'm saying? 43% is insane. It's
yeah,
not that hard to get money for 43%. What are you selling? What's the crux? What is stopping people from giving you money, Alex? Trust. So, what's your main job as a media buyer? Maximize trust to minimize sales cycle and maximize cash injection, which is like investments, right? So, how do I make the creatives maximize trust? How do I make the lander maximize trust? How do I get the retention marketing, the SMS and email follow up? Maximize trust. Do you send them 5 years of history? Do you send them references? Do you send them a quick list of 5 people they could email that they can reference with? Maybe trustworthy investors in the oil industry. Imagine I get a follow up text with 5 people in the oil industry that are popular oil and golly, that's gonna make the leads good. So it's like this is how you have to think. So I want you to think less like a media buyer, and I want you to think more of how do I get these people to trust me as fast as possible so they give me their funds so I can give them this 43% offer. Now, this is assuming everything is compliant, right? This is
Yeah.
just marketing
Yeah.
conversation, right? So it's like, you see what I'm saying? So your job is to maximize trust, bro.
Do you think that giving them due diligence, like, "Hey, here's everything you need to know before them showing up to
I
a
would
call will
I
minimize
would
their
do that.
show up?"
Yeah, dude, I would put tons of due diligence material on the lander. I would put due diligence material on the creative. I would immediately SMS blast them. Here's the references. Here's 5 years of history. Here's XYZ. Like, I want you to overwhelm them with due diligence. Because what is your business? Your business is getting leads that go through 1 to 2 months of due diligence so your salespeople can close. So how do we shorten that sales cycle, right? So just,
Yeah.
that's the game I would play. The VSL, the creative focuses on leadership, focuses on history. The copy focuses on everything they need to know so they get 100% trust you full forward. Oh, we have a quarterly meeting in Texas every 3 months. Here's your invitation to come to our quarterly event every 3 months in Texas, where you can meet everybody in person. You know what I mean? Just like, how do I, like, you got to think, man, you're asking for people for hundreds of thousands of dollars, nobody who knows who you are. They see a 43% ROI. So it's like, how do we bridge the gap between knowing who you are and trusting you to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars, bro? Okay? So let's do it right, right? Everything I'm saying is extremely logical.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, that's great, dude. Fire. Yeah, super fire. I can take all
That
this and apply it.
ping, here's 5 references. It's like, whoa, okay. Whoa, I know this guy. He's a huge oil investor. Whoa, that's a huge signal. Whoa. But I mean, wait, you have a Facebook group with all your investors in it? Whoa, holy shit, can I apply? Wow, I'm now in the Facebook group and I'm friends with all these other investors. Wow, I really got to show up to the call now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we've talked about building some community stuff there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a
Generally speaking, optimize for lead, then you get the book call, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like you wanna maximize show rate, maximize this, shorten that sale. It's really about shortening that goddamn sales cycle. It's so long to get that to get the investment. How do we make sure it's as short as possible? Because if people trusted you full force, they'll give you the cap.
yeah, it's that trust.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we need to re-engineer it for maximizing
Yeah,
trust there.
I think
Okay.
you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? The ad spend will go to the creative that is easiest to go to. That's not always what you want. You want the ad spend to flow to creative that will maximize close rate. So
Yeah.
be very careful about it. You want to sacrifice cost per lead for cost per acquisition.
Yeah, we actually experienced that in our I can show you this one here. In this business where so this is the other one we run a marketing offer to okay. So yeah, like this one here, this video for $30 cost per lead. You know, we've had ads that did like $10 cost per lead. And but yeah, this one here, this is actually where like 3 sales have come from this one, or 2 sales have come from this one specifically,
Yeah.
which is
It's just
yeah, so I'm super because I'm just like a get the lowest cost per lead because it's
nope.
pulling people in.
Nope.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
isn't e-com, bro. This is Legion. You're focusing on sales, not e-com, right? So it's like, yeah, like look, everything like what I literally oracled, like like right? I could have, you know what I'm saying, if we knew each other 2 months ago, I could have saved you 2 months. Right. So it's just like, yeah, so it's like the ad with the CEO in it is the best performer, right? Because they're getting acquainted. It's like anybody can like a photo, but do I like the CEO? So when I see an ad about the CEO, I have to like him, and that's like 50% of the battle. So I would focus almost all of your creative on leadership, and I would because if they don't like your leadership, they won't buy anyway. You're just wasting money on ads.
Yeah.
Anybody will like an image ad with 43%. That's That's good media buying, but that's bad marketing. So it's like what you want to do is you want to engineer the funnel from creative to sale, where you maximize trust and minimize the sales cycle as much as possible. Honestly, if you do the few things I said, you're gonna do well in that, friend.
Heard. Okay. Yeah, trust, maximizing that. And the yeah, people wanting to know the leadership and trust and like the leadership
Yeah,
as
man,
well.
just think as a person, dude. Just think as the lead. Like, okay, I want 43%, but do I trust these people? Like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Heard, dude, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
What's your like offer? Like what do you have a retainer? Or how do you guys do things?
For me, it's so I used to have like a full suite. Well, hold on, let me stop recording real quick.